All right, it's time we talk a little bit more about what I've been resisting speaking about. I'll tell you why in a second, which is the Elon secret child story. On screen, you're seeing right-wing influencer Ashley St.Clair, who's publicly sort of wanting Elon to acknowledge that she birthed his child. She is his baby mama. Is baby mama in still? Is it in or out? You can tell me in the comments. I don't know, but I think it's fine. So he is resisting acknowledging his 13th child to be his, publicly at least. 13. That's a lot of children. And so let's dive into it. And then I'll tell you what I think the real takeaway is. If you appreciate the show, as always, I want to remind you to click that subscribe button if you haven't yet. So The Independent reports that Elon Musk breaks silence after MAGA influencer claims he's fathered 13th child. We'll look at what she said to him, sort of asking him to acknowledge, and she's doing this over X. So I guess she's being cut off privately in their communications. And the original thing that confirmed this, some media outlets maybe were getting their hands on the story, so she decided to go public with it for whatever reason. It kind of was her public statement that made it a story, so it was an interesting choice there. But I will say, as I mentioned to you briefly in a past segment, I actually, not that I'm Bernstein or something, but I actually had an inside source that knew about this for some time. I just didn't see it super relevant to talk about up until now. But she wrote, 5 months ago, I welcomed a new baby into the world. Elon Musk is the father. I have not previously disclosed this to protect our child's privacy and safety, but in recent days, it has become clear that tabloid media intends to do so, regardless of the harm it will cause. I intend to allow our child to grow in a normal and safe environment. For that reason, I ask that the media honor our child's privacy and refrain from invasive reporting, which obviously I have no interest in getting into any details about the child, but instead, sort of scandal for Elon now that she's publicly saying, Elon, will you acknowledge? And I'll show you those posts in just a second. But on this independent reporting, it says Elon Musk broke his silence after MAGA influencer Ashley St.Clair claimed to have given birth to the tech billionaire's 13th child. And yes, I'll get into the hypocrisy of the Party of Family Values, the Ashley St.Clair posts about how we should be the Party of Family Values and how this doesn't, by their standard, necessarily fall into that. But I have a more important takeaway beyond that for later. St.Clair sent Musk's X platform into a frenzy last week after alleging that the pair share a 5-month-old child. Musk is yet to directly respond to St.Clair and instead went on social media tirade in the early hours of Monday, seemingly every other issue in his crosshairs except these latest claims that he has become a father once again. But he did respond to a post about Ashley St.Clair, interestingly enough. On Saturday, Musk shared a one-word reply to an ex-user who reposted a screenshot of a tweet by St.Clair in 2020 joking that she wanted a marriage proposal from the Silly Valley stalwart. All my words are wrong. The Silicon Valley stalwart. There we go. Quote, Ashley St.Clair plotted for half a decade, the post reads, to ensnare Elon Musk, someone wrote on X. And Elon Musk replied, well. Now, when someone's out saying that they are the mother of your 13th child and saying, please acknowledge that, I guess, it's kind of weird for the first thing for you to say on the matter is just simply 4 letters, whoa. I mean, that's a pretty big life thing. And I don't know if whoa does it justice, but that's what he decided to do. And in response, Ashley St.Clair said, quote, Elon, we have been trying to communicate for the past several days, and you have not responded. She deleted that ultimately. When are you going to reply to us instead of publicly responding to smears from an individual who just posted photos of me in underwear at 15 years old? Yikes. In another tweet, St.Clair claimed that Musk privately acknowledged her accusations after a phone call months ago. And then St. Clair's representative shared a statement on Saturday night in a post on X noting that they are waiting for Elon to publicly acknowledge his parental role with Ashley. So again, I think that's what makes this fair to talk about is now she's wanting a public acknowledgement. So we're adding to the public discourse about such potential acknowledgement. Last week, St. Clair broadcast that Musk was the alleged father of the child after an undisclosed disclosed tabloid news outlet forced her hand. It was me. I'm the one who forced her hand. No. However, in a new interview with the New York Post, she shared further details about the alleged romance and resulting pregnancy. Aren't y'all all, didn't you wake up today and go, I want to hear about an Elon Musk romance? Please tell me. Well, I have it for you. Ooh. I was told to keep it secret. I was being asked to keep it a secret forever. I was completely isolated during my pregnancy. Every part of my career and everything I used to do, I couldn't do anymore. I was told not to tell anybody. And it's yet to be known if indeed this is all the case. It's yet to be known why Musk wanted to keep it a secret, but maybe we'll find out eventually. Text messages between St. Clair and Musk's money manager, viewed by the Post, appeared to show that she had complied with Musk's wish to be left off the birth certificate. Despite the secrecy, she says that her initial impression of the world's richest man was positive. Musk was very funny. He was smart. He was very down to earth. Really? Down to earth? A guy who is literally trying to get off Earth with his rockets? Down to earth? The richest man down to earth. I picture down to earth, that phrase applying to, someone who works a 70K a year job, raising a family, drinks a beer a couple times on the weekends, watches football, just a down to earth American. But maybe Elon Musk is the epitome of humility and down to earthness. St. Clair claimed that Musk slid into her DMs. For our older viewers out there, that is a phrase for DMing someone. On X in May 2023, she was then invited to San Francisco, where at the age of 24, she met Musk at XHQ. Their relationship allegedly blossomed like a flower. From there until St. Clair became pregnant, she says. Now, she now is making light, it seems, a little bit of this by also saying something really gross, which is her posting a photo of Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky as quite literally the fate of his country is being decided amidst negotiations, and said, this was recently, "Can you believe the nerve of this gold digger?" So I guess it's sort of double meaning there. She has negative feelings towards Zelensky, as so many MAGA people do, such strong, hateful feelings towards the guy who's leading the defense of his country. Who knows the logic there, but she's connecting it to what people are calling her, I guess. But if you go back to older posts, if we are going to go down the hypocrisy road, of course, as with all MAGA influencers, you have posts about her saying, we got to bring back family values. And again, without casting my own judgment, by their standards, I don't think this falls into that. But what's the real takeaway here? Okay, the hypocrisy, yeah, that's always fun to point out. But what I've learned is there's almost pride in their hypocrisy. They are so happy to be hypocritical. So calling it out, I haven't found to work very well, but what's the important takeaway? I don't care even a little bit. I don't care. I care less about this than a bug that's 3 miles away. I don't care about it. Not even a little bit. What I do care about, and what I wish the media would put equal emphasis on, is what we talked about in a recent segment. NBC News reporting that the Republican budget that the House is pushing calls for up to $4.5 trillion in new deficits through tax cuts, which Republicans plan to use to extend Trump's tax cuts for the rich. That's my language. But summing up that 2017 tax law, it calls for, listen to these numbers, $1.5 trillion in spending cuts with an additional caveat. The House package has to include $2 trillion in cuts to the mandatory part of federal spending. They're putting it in writing. The mandatory spending they want to cut, which covers programs like Medicare, Medicaid, and food benefits known as SNAP, or $4.5 trillion amount in tax breaks must be reduced by a commensurate amount. And I already read that to you, but one part I forgot to in the other segment was that Democrats blasted the House GOP's budget resolution, and actually, to go to the top of this, Republicans rejected a flurry of Democratic amendments aimed at prohibiting cuts to certain programs used by the middle class and calling for higher taxes on wealthy people and corporations. So they're going, listen, if you're really serious about fiscal responsibility, then probably at the very least your tax cuts shouldn't be directed towards pushing as much wealth as possible in the direction of those who already have so much. So how about we do two things? We restrict or don't include tax cuts for wealthy folks. They're good. Maybe we even go in the opposite direction. And we make sure the spending cuts aren't being cut for middle class working Americans who would be very negatively impacted by such a benefits cut. And Republicans said no. So they're going to do a whole thing, and there's going to be a lot of lies about what it is that they're pushing. We'll see if this can successfully get through Congress. There's a little bit of a bind between the Senate and the House, both led by Republicans, but different approaches. And then if Trump will sign into law. But I would place it at more likely than not that this budget or something like it, this bill or something like it, gets through and is signed into law. And once again, we see them totally okay with the trade-off of DOGE will go cut benefits for people who really need it. We'll cut benefits through Congress for people who really need it. And we'll do all of that so that we can offset it, and not even fully offset, massive tax cuts for the rich. Maybe this budget talk is less salacious than the baby mama. But it's much more important. Share your thoughts in the comments. Support the show. Get the members only bonus show if you want to by clicking that join button below.